So this is my commentary track for the third episode of 15th Street, which is titled Agent. As we got into this, I think we were starting to lean more into the most offensive humor that we could come up with. Those all the Schindler's List jokes at the beginning of this episode. You see, we're excited to see the nudity in Schindler's List, so I don't know. There we're continuing the gag of Tim masturbating from the last episode. But anyway, so now the guys decide they need to film a sensitive, artistic film full of nudity, and that'll help them attract women in real life. I don't know how much that idea came across on screen again. It's a thought process that's so random that I don't even know how we came up with something so bizarre. But now Tim decides to make a makeshift water slide. And fun fact, that crack noise of the head against the wooden door there, that's not Foley. I did in fact bang my head very hard into that door from water sliding into it in real life, and it hurt quite a bit. I don't think I'm actually acting that pain out for real there, but the initial groan I think is quite real. So now we're back sitting in the same room where Tim was caught masturbating in the last episode, in the same chair that I actually sat in to edit the episodes. This is where Andrew's sitting, and you can see Andrew's bedroom in the back there. Andrew's watching some scat porn. I have weirdly, I said in the last episode I didn't have any memories of filming that. I do remember filming this exact scene, oddly enough, because we did it in one shot, so we had to memorize it all like a play, and I believe we filmed it like 8 times or something like that. Oh, that image there on the screen of the actor that Tim has a crush on. That actor, I think his name was Dustin, and he was actually pretty successful. He was in like some real movies like The Wolf of Wall Street and some other stuff like that. So anyway, we're currently looking for an actress to star in our sensitive, artistic film full of nudity. So we shot this at some little office building in the school. I like the shots of the actual city out the window. In retrospect, we should have... We didn't take advantage enough of sort of the interesting New York settings that we could have used for filming. Like, obviously, there's, I'm not saying we should have filmed in Times Square or anything, but there are a ton of, there are thousands of intersections and streets in New York. We should have done maybe a little more interesting outdoor filming, at least found more offices to film using New York, real New York settings as a backdrops than we actually did, where we just shot most of the stuff inside of our apartment. Yeah, so we're here planning to hold auditions for our actress. The comedic beeps do make me laugh. Oh, so here's our actor we had playing our talent agent, who's going to bring in an actress. And this actor, Patrick, he's actually, unlike us, who are, rank untalented amateurs at the acting game. He was actually legitimately a very talented actor who did, played the lead role in dramatic plays and stuff. He's the real deal. He was a very good actor who would worked with on sets before, so that's why I brought him in for that. Here's the actress. I think the actress' name was Michelle, who's playing the actress auditioning for our film in the context of this episode. Of course, later it'll be revealed that she's developmentally disabled, which we're just trying to lean into as much offensive humor as we could come up with. But yeah, this was indeed a real, just a building at NYU. So Ben immediately gets a crush on Michelle, but
I like stories. I like you.
Yeah, so we're just increasingly playing into the jokes about, well, I don't know. I like I said, when we initially conceived this series, I was a bit more of kind of the, you might call it the George Michael archetype, as George Michael Bluth from Arrested Development, constantly embarrassed. But as it went on, I just became more and more of a bizarre figure, and maybe we put a little bit more of the embarrassment on Ben, whereas Andrew, we mostly just kind of wrote as if he was Job Bluth through the whole series.
Fellas, have a seat. Please. You first.
I do like the back and forth editing in this little scene here. It amuses me. But yeah, so we had initially conceived a lot more kind of standalone episodes that for the most part we never ended up making, because these last 3 episodes, this one, the next episode, Daughter, and the final episode, Corporation, are all one quote-unquote story arc that'll take us through to what ended up being the end of the series.
It equals hilarious fucking results for me.
We did film a 6th episode where we opened an abortion clinic in our apartment, and I don't know, for whatever reason, we just never ended up editing and putting it up. I don't think we were scared off how offensive it would have been, because we were definitely playing into making everything as offensive as possible. I think we even had like some prop blood and maybe dismembered a baby doll to look like. But yeah, and then we had other episodes. There was one where we wanted to bring in our cat into the apartment as kind of a character, so to speak, and we were going to have a gag where she was secretly racist. I don't think it was intended to be the whole subject of an episode, but we'd have gags of the cat watching racist content on the internet and stuff. And we wrote at least 2 versions of where I think I wrote both scripts, actually. There was one where Andrew got invited to a party that was quote-unquote Pussy Central, and he went excited to see all the hot ladies, but in fact it was like an eyes wide shut, creepy type event with people in masks making a circle, a central, around a cat. And I think that one was dismissed because it would need too much extras and costumes and stuff. Then there was one that was much more filmable, where we adopted the cat because Ben was trying to date an animal lover. And then I think Tim wrote a note to Andrew about preparing the cat dinner, and Andrew thought it said preparing the cat for dinner, and was preparing to cook the cat when Ben brought the date over, and everyone was embarrassed. But yeah, neither of those ended up getting filmed. But as we go on to future episodes, I'll discuss, because I do remember we had a whole season of like 13 episodes planned out, but as we go on, I'll discuss.
About 100 grand.
I think we had to order a $100,000 bar from Amazon.com for that gag, because we couldn't actually find one in any store. We'd like order a box of them just for one stupid.
100-gram bar.
I believe that's the episode of our friend Dan, who played the wide-eyed party goer in the first episode there, saying 100 grand. But yeah, we had a whole kind of season planned out, but we just kind of too much other schoolwork, and I think we all had part-time jobs at the time. I worked some like the checking in and out of people of a video editing lab,
Daddy.
where people used Final Cut and Avid and stuff. So between those and class and stuff like that, this being an actual classroom, I don't know if we actually took classes in there or not. We just tore open that bag of 100-grand bars for that stupid gag. But yeah, so we just never ended up filming more than these 5 episodes. Or like I said, I think we filmed a 6th one. I know we did. I remember doing it, where we opened the abortion clinic in our apartment. But yeah, as we go on,
You're in cahoots with the terrorists. No, it's not like that. We just got aroused watching Schindler's List.
So now Patrick is he's both an adoption agent and a federal agent, and he's accusing us of being terrorists. I'm hamming it up with the terror look there. So now, as it turns out, what's going on is Julie is actually going to be adopted out. She's Patrick is actually secretly an adoption agent, and Julie there thinks she's talking to Ben about adopting her as our daughter, whereas Ben thinks they're flirting.
Confession or your friend's pinky goes.
What should I do, Anton? The confession. Go to jail. My pinky.
You have 3 seconds.
So now I think I'm signing the confession that we're terrorists to send us to jail, but actually, unbeknownst to Tim, I've just signed the adoption form, and now we're going to be Julie's fathers. I don't know where we came up with this. This is I have little memory of the actual writing of this episode, even though I do know it was at least a 3-man job. I think maybe, I'm not sure if our friend Dan, I know he wrote I'm positive he wrote the last 2 episodes with us. I can't remember if it was just the 3 of us or him who wrote this one also, but.
Dead. He's dead tired of taking terrible.
But yeah, I do remember filming all of this. It's more logistically simple than what we tried to do at the party in the first episode, but it was probably a good thing. I think we got a little overwhelmed with trying to manage what was supposed to be 5 or 6 other speaking roles at the party, plus a lot of extras that we didn't end up having. Whereas Adoption Agent, where we tried to keep our number of other actors much lower for subsequent episodes, although we did have ideas for stuff that was still too convoluted to film. Like, we had a whole scene set in Union, or where was it set? Washington Square Park, I want to say, that we ended up scrapping from a future script just because we were like, this is going to be such a pain in the ass to film. But now I kind of wish we'd done it, because you had New York City at your disposal. Why the hell not? Oh, and now we see that Julie is mentally retarded. Yeah, in particular in the next episode, we're just gonna the whole idea as the series went on was just dial the offensiveness up to basically the maximum possible level, because that's how it was back in the day. This has been not the early days of South Park, but the earlier days, seasons 5, 6, 7, early days of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So we were just trying to, this was a slightly different time in terms of sensitivities. So, and we had ideas for future episodes that were even more offensive than this. And I'll outline all our future ideas in a future commentary track.
It's a twisted world.
I believe that CSI Miami, that was Ben's idea in the editing, which turned out to work quite well. I do like the epic operatic music in the To Be Continued. That always amused me. I wish we'd done more of that. Ah, yes, two filming people. I assume one for the apartment scenes and one for the office scenes there. But yep, that was the third episode. And since the story arc is just going to continue next time in The Daughter, I'll just pick up this same conversation then.